I'm Ben Gonzalez with the Texas Department of Insurance, and this is the Texas Insurance Podcast. On each episode, we look at an insurance topic, why it's important to you, and then offer some tips to help save you some money or protect your family and property. Now, winter can be a hazardous time for drivers, so we thought we'd share a few safe driving tips for cold weather. These are especially important for those of us that don't encounter the freezing conditions all that often. But really, anyone can get into trouble when roads get icy. We spoke to Sonia Gross from the Texas Department of Transportation's Amarillo District to go over what drivers should know before getting behind the wheel in winter weather. What can drivers do to prepare for driving in winter weather?
One of the first things that drivers need to do in preparing for winter weather is to prepare their vehicle. Make sure your tires are properly inflated. Make sure your fluid levels are where they need to be. If that oil needs to be changed and that transmission fluid needs to be changed, make sure all of that is taken care of well before winter weather hits. Is your battery in good shape? The last thing you want to be is stranded on the roadside. And so taking care of your car will, in its own way, take care of you as a driver.
Is there anything else that we need to do about taking care of people in that car, too?
Certainly. I've noticed a lot of people stranded alongside of the road in their pajamas because they thought they were going to make a quick trip to your local big box store. And there's no such thing as a quick trip. Anything could happen. And you don't want to be in a position where you're out in your pajamas and slippers or flip-flops. So make sure that every time you get into your vehicle, especially during winter weather, you're dressed appropriately and in layers. Have an extra blanket in your car. Have some kitty litter or sand. So if you ever need to put some behind and in front of your tires to gain traction on ice, that's available. And it'll also help weight down your back tires as well, which is always good if you're driving in icy conditions. Make sure you have bottled water. Make sure you have snacks. Just make sure you have some gloves, mittens, whatever. And another thing I like to remind drivers is before you even start your car, let it warm up. And if there's ice or snow on your car, remove it. I just recently saw a meme on one of my friend's Facebook pages, and it was the woman scraping just enough to see out of her front windshield. And that's never a good idea. That is very unsafe. I took everything in my being not to comment on that post, but I probably eventually will. But you want to be able to see, and you want others to be able to see you. So make sure that the snow, the ice, all of that is removed from your vehicle before you even set sail on that road.
Okay, so we have to make sure the car is prepped and maybe keep a few emergency supplies in the car just in case something happens. What about actual tips about driving in winter weather? What should people remember?
You know, even for the seasoned drivers, these reminders never hurt, especially for myself. So if I need them, you need them too. Slow down. That's the number one tip we can give everybody. People think that maybe because they're in a high profile vehicle, that they're in a safer position than other drivers on the road, and that's just not the case. I remember one of my first winters in Amarillo, I was going over this overpass, and I knew to slow down because my dad, a former truck driver, taught me how to drive on ice. And a truck behind me decided to speed up and go around me, and I'm glad I was going slow, so I was able to react when he skidded out of control. So just because he was in a truck didn't mean he was in a safer position. He just apparently thought he needed to be there quicker than I did. And you're not going to get to where you're going if you're speeding and driving irresponsibly. So please slow down. Also, if you find yourself in a skid, let off the gas pedal and steer into that skid.
So that still applies even with front wheel drive cars. You steer into the skid?
You know, let me put this caveat on it. Always know what your car does and doesn't do. Are you a front wheel drive vehicle? Are you a rear wheel drive vehicle? Or are you an all wheel drive vehicle? Read your owner's manual, know what your vehicle does and doesn't do, and follow those recommendations more than anything that I could ever tell you.
So Sonia, is there any way we can check on the road conditions before we actually head out?
You know, that's always a great idea. After you've made sure your car is ready and that you're ready, are the roads ready? visit drivetexas.org. That's drivetexas.org. Or you can call us toll free at 1-800-452-9292. That's 1-800-452-9292. We've got some friendly people on staff that are ready and willing to take your call and help get you to where you're going. And that's the best way. Those are the most current, up-to-date road conditions that'll tell you whether there's construction going on or if weather is presenting a hazard out on the roadway. So we're always ready to help with that tool, ready for you to use.
So that's a way to check on road conditions and things going on outside the car. But we know that Texas has some pretty long highways and roads out there, and sometimes the worst danger is inside the car. If you're getting tired, are there any tips for fighting that fatigue on a long road trip?
I know a lot of people like to get those road trips started bright and early, but make sure you're well rested before you ever hit the road. Take frequent breaks, stretch those legs, and have the air conditioning on. Roll down the windows, do what you need to. I tend to listen to the music on full blast. So if you see this lady going around town singing at the top of her lungs, it's more than likely me. But if you do find yourself fatigued, pull over into a safe spot. We have rest areas all across the state of Texas, and we have several travel information centers. In fact, we've got a great one located here in the Texas Panhandle off of Amarillo Boulevard in Amarillo. And we've got a great staff there. So if you need help, if you need a bathroom break, or you need a safe place to park, make sure you find those places that we offer or other people offer, and give yourself that much needed rest, because driving drowsy is just as bad as driving drunk. And also, when you get behind that wheel, avoid the distractions. Even a hands-free cell phone is a distraction. So your number one job when you're behind that wheel of the car is to drive responsibly. You're in charge of your life, the lives of the people in that car with you, and the lives of your fellow drivers. So keep that in mind before you think about picking up that phone or other distractions.
As Sonia mentioned, check out road conditions before you leave at drivetexas.org. See if any roads are closed along your route or where to find those rest stops. If you plan ahead and drive safely, hopefully you won't find yourself in a situation where you'd have to file an auto insurance claim. But Texas law requires drivers to have proof that they can pay for any accidents they cause. Now, most of us do that by buying auto liability insurance, which pays to repair or replace the other driver's car when you're at fault in an accident. If you need more information about auto insurance, visit our website at tdi.texas.gov. You can also call our helpline at 800-252-3439 to ask your insurance questions. Well, that's it for today, but be sure to subscribe to the Texas Insurance Podcast wherever you get your podcasts, so you never miss out on any of this important information. We'll talk to you next time.